Okay, now not all sequences are just straight out of the bat where you're given your first 5 so many terms, and you just find your first so many terms. Sometimes they're defined, what we would say is recursively. So if you have a recursively defined sequence, what that means is you have to be given one or more of the first few terms. So after that, after you give the first couple terms, what you can do is you can use the other terms to define your you can find your next terms by looking at your previous terms. So for example, write the first 5 terms of the sequence defined recursively. So if you're given your first term, a sub 1, we have a sub 1, which is a 6, but we need to find the next 4, because we got to find our first 5. So the notation is a little squirrely in this, but that's okay, we'll get past it. Now, in order to find something that's defined recursively, you have to have either one or more of your first terms, but we have our first term. So what this a of k plus 1 means equals a of k plus 1, that means if we're going to find our second term, so that means that you would have a sub 2, k plus 1 is equal to 2. So if k plus 1 is equal to 2, if you were to solve that, subtract 1, that means k is a 1. So you'd put a 1 in here and a 1 in here, and you would say, well, I have a sub 1 plus 1 is equal to a sub 1 plus 1, which means, well, this is really an a sub 2. Your second term, that means your second term is your first term plus 1. So we take our first term, which is a 6, 6 plus 1 gives us our second term, which is a 7. So don't let the notation freak you out. The next term, your third term, if this is your third term, what you're doing is you're taking your third term is equal to your second term plus 1. So in this case, if you set, k plus 1 is equal to 3, because we're talking about your third term, k is equal to 2, we would write that as a of 2 plus 1. That's just equal to a sub 2 plus 1. So you're taking your previous term, your second term, and adding 1 to it. So you're going to say 7 plus 1 is an 8. So you're going to notice a pattern here. Every time you're just taking your previous term and adding 1. 9, 10, there are your first 5 terms. So I would say what most people freak out about is the wording. Okay, if you have a sequence that's defined recursively, you have to look at the previous term or previous 2 terms. In this case, add 1 to it, define your next term.